Welcome to the Budgeting Sisters. I'm Melissa, and April's here with us today. We're going to do a little chat about setting some goals and looking forward to 2025.
So, I hope you all had a great week. First full week of December, I guess.
That's right. Oh my gosh, it is. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Done.
So, I was watching a video. I think it was either today or yesterday. The days are mending into each other, molding into each other. And somebody said, and I've been wanting to ask you this, and then I was like, I'll wait and ask her right on the spot on a video.
Oh, great.
Someone said, I'm not calling it a goal anymore. I'm calling it an intention.
Yes, I heard it too. I don't remember who said it, but I loved it.
Did you? So what? How?
To me, it put purpose behind it. It put drive. It put action. All the above. Like, it was something that I was going to do with everything in me. I was committing to wanting to do this or to trying to achieve this.
I wanted to go and look up the definition, but I didn't make the time. But in my mind, I'm like, an intention means you intend to do it.
Right.
And you intend to do your goals. So maybe your goal, another way of framing it is saying it's an intention. I mean, if it gives somebody...
I can't remember who I heard it from, though. But I loved it.
I heard it last year at this time, too. And I was like, it's the same thing as a goal. But then the more I keep hearing it, the more I'm like, well, a goal I'm trying to do, but I feel like saying I intend to do it because it's my intention.
Right.
Gives it more, like you said, push behind the goal kind of thing.
Right. Because if I tell you I intend to do a video, there's
to me that means you're going to do it. You're doing
it. It's a sense of commitment.
Right.
You know? Whereas if I just tell you my goal is to do this, this, and this, there's no commitment there.
Right. Right. So along that line, have you ever set a word for the year?
Oh, yeah, I do almost every year.
Really? I've never done that.
Really? Oh, yeah.
But now I'm thinking maybe my word for the year should be intentional or intentions. And,
Yeah. I'll talk about mine in a couple weeks.
I got to ponder it and give it some thought.
Well, they say typically what you do is you come up with a list of them. Like, as you're watching or hearing things and whatever, you just write things down that stick out to you. And then you go over that list 2 or 3 times and isolate it down.
Okay.
So it kind of, because there's
Lila saying hi.
Because you view things differently according to how your day went, what your attitude is, things like that.
Yeah.
So they tend to have you look at it multiple different days so that then you're kind of seeing things from all perspectives.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to have to give that one some thought too this month. But okay, back on track. So
sorry.
We'll use the word goals just because that's what we're all used to.
Right.
So in the big old corporate America where I work, I had to take many classes on doing annual reviews, goal setting, and there was a specific 3-hour goal, 3-hour class about setting goals and how to set those goals.
That's a long time to talk about goals.
It was a long time, but when you're also talking about it's around your performance review, making them specific so that if you have to say you didn't meet this, you have the proof that you didn't meet it.
Or
So
why you didn't need it?
a lot went into the class itself. And so what it came down to was this thing called SMART,
Yeah.
which I found a great form that we will have as a freebie down below in the description. But it says to make your goals specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time. So you need to take all those things into
Ooh-wee.
consideration.
I guess as you work through them, you would get more and more specific about your goal.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, you'll get more specific about your goal and what you're going to accomplish and what it will look like when you attain that goal.
Okay. So it has like an end vision or an end result.
Right.
What you
So
got.
so you just can't say I want to get out of debt.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Because like you
specific.
said the other day, you can say you want to get out of debt, but to realistically look at things
Exactly.
is totally different.
Right. So if you did it specific, you would say, I want to pay off $20,000 in 2025.
Yeah.
It gives it a time. It's measurable because you're giving it an amount. It's specific.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you to determine if that is attainable or not. And is it relevant to everything else that is going on in your life?
Yeah.
So I try to keep those things in mind when I'm setting my goal, because
I mean, it is a good little acronym. Is that what
it
it's called?
is.
An acronym?
I think
That goes on
so.
there?
Yeah. Because I could say I could start my goal by saying I want to exercise more, and then take that and put it through this SMART process
Uh-huh.
to narrow down my goal that for the first month of the year, I am going to walk 3 times a week for 15 minutes.
Now, they do seem that it would cover any sort of category of goals.
Yeah, I think it's definitely
Like no matter what you're writing a goal, it's gonna
correct.
somewhat relate back to that SMART.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't really think of something that wouldn't be specific. And if you know what your end result is, you've got to have a way to measure it.
Sorry.
That's all right. I'm putting you to sleep. And I like to have a time specific goal.
Yeah.
With doing the 12-week year last year,
Uh-huh. That
it
like
really
changed a lot for me.
yeah, it really drilled in. Okay, for the 3 months, this is what my goals are. This is what I need to do to get there. And this is what it'll look like when I am done, kind of thing.
Right.
So I'm thinking I'm going to stay along those lines of goal setting for 2025. But I honestly have no idea, other than, I mean, my goal is to get out of debt.
Yeah.
I'm not putting a year to it or anything like that. So I know that one of my goals will be whatever amount I feel is appropriate to pay off in 2025.
But is that where you would break that down further, like quarterly, monthly, weekly type deal?
Yes. When you put it in the frame of the 12-week year, yes. Or you just set goals every 12 weeks. So I wouldn't look at a yearly total. I would just say, my goal for the first quarter of 2025 is to pay off $5,000 worth of debt.
Yeah.
Rather than having a big number and going backwards, you might get the same result. I don't really know.
Would it be better to say, in this example, would it be better to say I'm paying off credit card 1, medical bill 1, medical bill 2, and list the order, or a total?
I think that is a preference to whoever is setting the goal.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't get that specific just because I would want the flexibility to say, oh, this medical facility is offering me a 50% discount if I pay it this week.
Right.
Oh, I can't do it. It's not on my goal list. My intention
Yeah.
isn't to pay that one off and save $2,000,
Yeah.
So that's why I tend to not look exactly at what I'm going to pay off, but an overall dollar amount.
Yeah, that's true.
But eventually, yeah, I mean, I'd like to go right down my list, smallest to largest, and that
And
is the
it can
intention.
alter per thing. Like you have that one for the refrigerator that had to be paid off in a certain amount of time.
Yes.
So that could be a specific one that'd be like, okay, I've got to pay this by this date.
So for that quarter, yes, that would be my
Yeah.
goal, that I have to have this paid by, I don't know. I think I bought it in August. I don't know, September, June. I don't know.
Well, we might want to find that out.
I it's right on the website. So that would, yes, be the specific goal in that quarter.
Yeah.
Or could be the specific goal in that quarter. Have you ever had a year where you've like made way too many goals?
Oh yeah. That's like almost always.
I know. How
it's like
many...
the to-do list. It just keeps running,
Exactly.
Going.
So what's the line to draw where you're like, okay, this isn't a goal. This is just, I gotta do this. Like, just do it. My goal is to clean my house.
Right.
Okay, I did it once. I did it January 1st. I don't have to do it for the rest of the year.
But is your goal just to clean your house, or is your goal to put in a cleaning routine to keep a house?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Cleaning my house or having a cleaning routine will never be a goal of mine.
Yeah. Now, I was doing some watching, because I was big into watching the planner community people.
Yes.
And a lot of them do a site called Moxie Life.
Oh, and check that out.
There is a bunch of free printables on their website. And I believe I sent it to you already, but maybe not.
Probably did.
But there's like an intention list. So you can go through and say, okay, why in this category, why do I feel like I need to have this goal?
Yeah.
Like, so it would be what the goal is, what the outcome would be. Like, and it's a lot focused on how you're feeling and not necessarily all physical attainable things.
Okay.
Sometimes it's mental, like they have learning and spiritual and relationships and things like that on there. So some of them are more emotional than necessarily physical, visible to other people.
Yeah.
But in there, they have 8 categories. Yeah. And so, like, a lot of people work something. Maybe not everything, but they do something towards each category, each 8 categories, every single week.
Every week?
Yeah. So they write down their annual goals. They write their quarterly goals. No, they don't do quarterly. Yeah, they do quarterly. Oh my goodness, what was that?
Oh, one of the cats is into all the Christmas gifts. Knocked the whole pile over. I have no idea. It scared
Oh my
Lilo.
goodness. So right now, a lot of them are focusing on their annual goals and what they want to see and accomplish in quarter one. Okay. But
Okay.
then within quarter one, they will break it down into monthly and weekly goals for each of the 8 categories.
Wow.
So, like, only only a few of them do this, but some of them, they'll take the 12 weeks and they'll do 2 this week, 2 the next week,
Yeah.
and keep doing it that way. But most of them do the 8 categories
Wow.
every week. And I'm like, how do you focus that intently and still be able to get other things done?
Right.
You know?
In the 12-week year, they say to keep it to 3 and under.
Yeah.
But I did 3 for home and 3 for work. And I really saw a big difference.
Yeah.
Especially in my work. I got a lot of projects done the first half of the year, which I'm seeing the work of that now, where it's the end of the year, we're busy, and I don't
Yeah.
have to get these projects done that were written in my March review or April review because I did them already. I can
Right.
just work during busy season on the day-to-day things.
Yeah, because this is usually your really busy season,
Yeah,
isn't it?
December, January, and February
Yeah.
are I usually work 60
A
hours.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
So the factor that you can take some vacation time during that,
yeah, I mean,
it says that you've done something differently this year than you normally would.
definitely. And I
Yeah.
I ended up only working the week of Thanksgiving. I ended up only working 8 hours, so that wasn't bad.
Yeah,
And that
that's
was
not.
spread out across like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And if I know I'm going to have to do something, I try to do it over the weekend. Then nobody is in the office asking me questions and nobody sees that I'm online and I can just.
Right. So you can just get in, focus on what you need to do, and get out.
Right, right. But I would rather do that than lose my vacation time because I've accrued
Right.
so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I personally like to have a financial section for my goals, a
Yeah.
personal section, and a household section.
Right.
Um,
Sorry if you can hear that. My heat just kicked on.
uh, I can't, but maybe they can when they rewatch it, huh? Um, so I don't know. I mean, how many do you typically have for categories,
I don't
or do you not put them
know.
in categories?
Usually I just have like a couple things that I really want to accomplish, but other than that, in the past I've usually just kind of take my word of the year and relate it back to each of the different areas of what my life is.
Yeah,
Um, like it say focus was your word. Okay, so how would that relate to financial? It would be like, okay, I've got to focus in on my tracking, and
right,
just, so that's how I kind of approach things. And but I can't. I struggle with doing too much all at once.
right.
So what it needs to be, I almost need to establish that habit, and then I can go do something else.
Yeah.
Because if I
That makes
try to
sense.
do it, if things are habitable, I know that's not a word, but if I'm trying to make a habit out of things, like not all goals are habits,
Right. Right.
they're just things that, like you said, you just gotta suck it up and get it done.
Right.
Um, and then those things are almost more of a mental game for me than necessarily a physical thing.
Yeah.
So, say focus is my word. I'm like, okay, I have got to focus on this today. Everything else can wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so I just relate that word into that one task and try to get it done. Now, sometimes that means planning a day to do that
Right.
because I don't do well with spur of the moment changes to my schedule.
Yeah.
I don't do well with that at all. Like, I like to know what I have planned, when I'm planning to do it, when I'm gonna be back.
Right. Right.
um, because I mean, there's just different reasons for that, but um, I mean, all this needs to be worked in together,
Right. Right.
and that's what it ultimately comes down to. Is there's all these different ways of setting goals, but one goal may need more of a mental approach
Right.
and one may need a schedule approach and some may need other people's help, and so you have
Right.
to outreach,
Right.
so it's just, I think you really have to take each goal individually of what it needs to, and how many you accomplish in that time. It has to be like a personal decision, because
Right.
some people can accomplish 6 8 things in a week. And other people can one, maybe two.
Right. Right.
If I'm
So
improving on that little bit, then I'm happy.
exactly. Exactly. So I created a form that is for my 2025 goals that I
Yes.
like because it has a whole section of action steps. And that's one thing I
Right.
liked about the 12-week year is every Monday, Lilo, every
Oh,
Monday I would have what they called WHAM meetings. I don't know what WHAM, weekly accountability meetings. That's what it
yeah.
stood for. And I would have them with myself, but every Monday I would have them and I would be like, okay, the goal for this 12-week is to get this project accomplished. And then I would break it down into steps.
Would you do all the steps at once?
No, no, I would break out the step.
What
No, because
I mean,
with
writing
like,
them down.
right, with like projects, it's like, I got to get the reporting first. And then I've got to see if this spreadsheet for reporting works for the end user. And then I need to work with the system to pull in the data and blah, so it like builds up and I can't go ahead until I get that first one done for my projects at work.
So when you sat down to your WHAM meeting,
Yep.
would you write all 6 of those action steps at that one point, or would you just write your first, the one that you're currently on?
So I took like a little, let me see if I have one. I do. I don't know if anybody can see me, but I took like a little composition book, just a little thing.
Yeah.
And every 12 weeks I would oh, it's upside down, but um I would say what my 3 goals were for the 12 weeks and I would give the date span of the 12 weeks. And then I had a page where I like put each goal with all the action steps that I thought I needed to take. And then every week in my WHAM meeting with myself, I would write down what action step I am working on that week for that goal to be done by week 12.
Would it allow you to alter it if you needed to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you found that, okay, you weren't needing this information anymore, you can be like, okay, cross that off and like set a new goal. Not a
Yes.
goal,
So,
but
right.
intention.
And I had that happen. I 1 week, I was like, oh, I need to work on, like the week before, accounting came to me and they were like, we have this big project we need you to work on. Um, Here's what it entails. And I said, okay. So I start wrapping my brain around this project.
Right.
And it was at like week 10 of a 12-week. So I had said, I'm busy the next 2 weeks, but I can work on it next quarter. So week 2 comes along and I'm working on this goal.
Yeah.
Oh, stop. We've decided that's not needed anymore. This project's needed instead.
Oh, good.
So I was like, okay, didn't finish this goal, but
Yeah.
the end user decided there was something else they wanted, so we had to change direction.
Yeah.
But that 2025 goal form has a section for where's these tools needed and what's the benefit of the goal. I love what's the benefit of the goal, because what is your reason for this goal?
Right. Why do you want to do and accomplish this goal?
Right. And that asking that question made me stop having a weight loss goal every year, because I never lost weight. I've weighed the same, give or take 5 pounds, for almost 30 years.
Yep.
So instead of saying I want to lose 20 pounds, I will say I want to walk more. I want to exercise this many times a week, blah, blah, blah. Because the weight's not gonna probably come off, it just is what it is. There's so many other medical things, so does it benefit me if I lose weight? Sure. But it's disappointing because it was never attainable.
Now, on the goal progress, would you color that in, or how often do you do an update on that progress? Are you using the same sheet for the whole time?
You could, or you could just use it for the quarter, for the 12 weeks. It would be up to you. I mean, if there's a chance that something comes up and you're going to have to go back to action step 1 after you've accomplished all the way through, use your emergency fund, for example. You could say, okay, I want $1,000 emergency fund. Work your butt off for 5-6 weeks. Boom, you got your $1,000 emergency fund. So you put a 100, and then all of a sudden you have an emergency,
and you have to use it, and you're back to square one.
Right. So I think it's whatever motivates you. I don't know if I would fill it out during the 12 weeks or if I would just wait till the end and determine how much of the goal I met.
Yeah. Because like in the Moxie Life one, what they do is, because they have weekly intention, like your plan to help you finish these and reach these goals, it has action steps for each week, and then you have to like take it off if you do it, and then at the end of the week, when they do like their recap, I guess is what it's called, and you have to rate 1 to 10 how well did you do on each of these steps.
Yes.
So that then next week when you go to do it, you know which area you're lacking, which ones you've kind of automated into your life, and you can push forward or whatever, I mean, that's how I saw the progress thing, is like almost how much do you feel you're accomplishing? Where are you at?
Yeah.
after this week or this month or whatever,
Yep. Yeah. Everybody can use it how they want, and
Yeah.
um
But over the next couple weeks, we're going to be doing these ourselves, right?
yes.
Breaking them
So
down.
yes, every Saturday we
Yeah.
will come back to the table and have a video on goals, us moving forward and getting ready for the new year. Next week, this week, we're going to do a lot of thinking about what we want for our goals and come back and share with each other our SMART goals
Yep.
and how we are going to quantify and measure those goals.
Right.
Um,
So we'll leave these documents down below so that you can print them out and scribble on them and
yes,
redo them and as many times as you need to. Because I know
definitely.
for me, it takes me 2 or 3 times going through and finalizing what a goal actually is.
Yes. Yep, me too.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I start with such a broad statement that working through the SMART, process really narrows it down
Right.
and sometimes can take, 5 goals and encompass it all in one. You
Right.
know?
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
one thing that I wanted to make sure we talked about was you and I, and anybody else in the Budgeting Sisters community, are going to do a pantry challenge in the month of
Yeah.
January. So
Yep.
we are going to try to use what we have in our house. We're still going to have to go to the grocery store, but
Sure.
we are going to try to use up what we have in our house
Mm-hmm.
so that we can use our grocery resources
Elsewhere.
however we feel fit to use them.
Right.
Um, and maybe that's, to save it to stock up for in
Mm.
February so that we have our
Right.
pantry back full again,
Yep.
or,
Yep.
um, save it to just look for rock bottom prices in
Mm-hmm.
January and February after the holidays. So
And
we
that
just want
that is
everybody to,
part of my big goal for January and really for this next year. One of them is to get that book going again of okay, what are the rock bottom prices? What are something like how much of this would we actually eat in a certain amount of time
yeah,
or kind of building that journal booklet, I guess,
yeah.
of what my ideal pantry would be.
It'd be interesting to see what you came up with since you're now in an RV.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah,
your
yeah,
rock
yeah.
bottom prices is going to be different everywhere you live. I mean, you've seen that
Right.
just going from one state to the next
Right.
state.
I'm like, okay, I got to go back to Tennessee this week. So we need to make sure we hit the United Grocery Outlet and
Yep.
stock up on things because I ain't paying the price even at Aldi here in South Carolina. Oh,
And
goodness.
you know what? I'll warn you now. South Carolina is way cheaper than Maine.
Oh, I know. I'm sure. Oh, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Don't plan to spend too much time in Maine because you'll be broke.
Maybe our January Pantry Challenge will go towards funding Maine this summer.
So when I went to Maine this couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
I did not eat out, bought at the grocery store, and 2 meals. I was there for 7 days. 2 meals, 2 dinner meals. I fed 2, 4, 5, 6 people.
Yeah.
But for the whole 7 days, I spent over $300 on groceries. I
Ugh.
didn't spend any money anywhere else except for on food and gas.
I don't know how people can afford
You can't
to
afford to live
live
in
in
Maine.
states like that.
You can't. Maine, Oregon, California. It's crazy.
Oh man, goodness.
Yeah.
So these are definitely things in January that we'll be talking about, is how we can cut those expenses no matter where we are,
Yep.
what we're doing, or
And we're going to
yeah,
have some more
using what we got.
forms. We're going to have some more forms around the pantry challenge, freezer
Yes.
inventory, and all of that. So keep that
Hmm.
in mind as you're thinking about your goals, whether or not you're going to do quarterly or yearly goals. I know I'm going to
Right.
do quarterly, um, just so that I can assess the situation every 12 weeks.
Right.
The thing I like, one of the many things I liked about the 12-week year is if you take 12 weeks, you don't equal 52, you equal 48. So
Oh yeah.
there is a week off in between every 12 weeks. And so what I did was I calculated every 12 weeks, and then I took a week's vacation off from work to
Oh
look at my goals that I accomplished.
yeah.
Even my work goals I did while I was out that week,
Yep.
and set new 12-week goals.
Hmm.
And it just kind of broke it up. It gave me a starting and an ending point, and
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yep.
You find time to do things when your goal is getting close to needing to be done. So if you're always
Yeah.
working at that
And it gives you
cycle,
time to plan out your year also, because
definitely.
you knew when your vacations were going to be and everything else. So,
Yep.
yep.
Yep. So
So, definitely we'll have the papers listed down below. And if anybody has any questions or ideas or anything, please let us know down below.
yes.
We'll just kind of work through this together and do the best that we can.
Yeah. So look over the forms, come back next week with what you think your goals might be, what you want to accomplish, what your intentions are for 2025. And we
Yep.
will share with you what ours are and
Yep.
how we came up with them and why, and
Go from there.
what steps we're going to take to make it happen.
Right. And hold each other accountable in the process.
Definitely. I definitely want to do monthly check-ins. I think that's going
Yeah.
to be very important, even if it's not checking in on every single goal, checking in on some of them.
Yeah. Yep.
Just if I'm putting my
Definitely.
goals out there, I y'all have to hold me accountable.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Well, guys, this has been a great start.
Yes.
We will continue it throughout the month and into 2025.
Yes.
Yep. But we will see you all later, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.